Hello, I am Amber Irwin with Social Speak Network. Welcome to our podcast. I am your host today, and today we are going to be covering 5 tips on how the healthcare industry can utilize social media. Social media is one of the most critical aspects of your digital marketing. This is the avenue that you're able to connect with your current patients and your potential patients. And there's a lot of confusion out there by choosing the right platform, which is tip number 1. There's a lot of different social media platforms out there. There's obviously the obvious ones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, there's Pinterest, there's LinkedIn, there was Google+, there's Yelp, there's all these different type of networks. And as a practitioner and a business owner, it's hard to really figure out which ones are the right one for your business. Because again, depending on your target market, Facebook and Instagram may work a lot better than Twitter and LinkedIn. With Pinterest is a great way for a visual search engine. And if your target audience is women, Pinterest is a great place to be because they go to Pinterest just like they Google search for something. So Pinterest is a great way with those a visual search engine is how we explain it to our clients. Before, it gets really overwhelming if you try to get onto all these platforms all at one time. Do your research before. We always say start with 2 to 3, conquer those, and then move on. Even if you start with 1, 1 to 2, if you really just want to start with Facebook, start with Facebook and give that, 6 months, and then introduce Instagram and then Pinterest. So you don't have to jump into everything right at once, but it's important to understand where your audience is at. And one very simple way to find out where your audience is at is asking them. So as they come in and they're signing in for their appointment, maybe you have a little questionnaire on the sign-in sheet that says, which social media platforms do you use most? Or where do you find your information? Is it Facebook, Instagram? And list them off. Maybe you send out a free SurveyMonkey email asking them, where do they find their information? Are they more likely to watch videos, read blogs? Where is that source of information coming from for them? So asking them and then figuring out that plan around those networks based on their answers. Tip number 2 is jumping into existing conversations. So this can be looking at discussions on LinkedIn. This can be Facebook groups. This can be utilizing other type of platforms. Quora is a great way for online discussions. People are always asking questions on there. Finding out what people are talking about and being able to jump in and be a resource. And this is kind of a tricky situation because you don't want to jump in and be the know-it-all or salesy, but really being able to be that resource and coming from that place of expertise rather than, we do this, but really just educating the audience. And also looking at where those existing conversations are at. So if they lie within a LinkedIn group, which is great, but is that LinkedIn group specific to your state, your city, your niche market? If it's just a broad group, which may still be a great way to still get those conversations going, you want to think, where's your target market at? So this is really where those specific location-based Facebook groups are great because this is where you can start those discussions. And then being able to look at, where are people asking questions? Where's those discussions at? How long did they go on? What was the call to action? Did you see something from those conversations? So, and that can simply be just a, Facebook message as well. But just monitoring those conversations that are around your niche and being able to be a resource for them is a really great way to use social media to your advantage. Number 3, Don't make it all about you. This is sometimes where, as social media is tricky, social media is just tricky as a whole. People want to know who you are. And this is why like the behind the scenes, the selfies, the family pics do really well. And especially in the healthcare industry, they want to see, who are the doctors, who are the nurses, who's the front desk staff. They want to see like, them behind the scenes outside of that office, because when they come in, that's where that trust and that loyalty starts to be built. But when you're doing your social media, be sure to ask them questions, get their feedback. This is why, it's important to tell, customer or patient stories and really be able to identify, how have you helped them? What are their struggles? What are their pain points? And make it about them as well. And that's really where that 80-20 rule comes in. 80% of the time, we're making it about them, giving them educational sources, being that resource for them. And 20% of the time, it's about you as a practitioner, as a business owner, and then what's your staff about as well. And so it's really important to be able to find that balance between the two of them. And then, being able to continually ask questions and be engaged as much as possible is really important. And the fourth one is raise awareness and counter misinformation. I always love this, like bust the myths. And especially in the medical industry, you have to be really careful of what you are debunking, what you're saying, because anyone can say that's wrong or that's not how that works. But just pay attention to what your audience is asking. And if they're coming in and they said, oh, I heard you shouldn't eat this, or you need to do this, or you should take this, be aware of those questions that they're asking, and then be able to jump on and do a quick video and say, you know what, we've had a lot of people ask about X, Y, and Z. We just want to give you our input on why this is not the total truth or why this got misinformed. But being able to give that like science backed up facts and being able to explain things. A lot of times, your audience is, and nothing wrong with them by any means, but they are headline readers. And if they are getting information from Facebook, sometimes that's even worse because they're just reading a tiny little piece of that article without even doing the research. So just paying attention to those, myths or misinformation that your audience is receiving, being able to point them in the right direction. And if you can't do it, if you don't have the bandwidth right now to record the videos and do the research, maybe there are partner practices or people, other people that you value and you look up to and you want to share their blog post, or somebody that's written an article about that, being able to share information as well, and then being able just to say, this is, we agree with them because of X, Y, and Z. So just making sure that your information, the information your patients are looking for and the questions that they have are being guided to the right direction. And tip number 5, automate your social media posts. This is something that seems so simple, but, we get caught up and we always say, okay, we need those real-time posts, which we do. But with technology today and life as it is, we get busy. And so one thing that we always recommend is being able to schedule your social media posts out a month in advance. It may take a little bit of time in the beginning. Maybe you just block out, have your staff or you or your content writers, your social media team, whoever that is, block out 3 hours per month. Usually that's what it takes for us to write content for a month in advance for our medical clients is, between 3 and 4 hours. But then that allows us to make the edits. We have everything ready, the content, the Twitter text, the LinkedIn text, the Instagram text, Facebook, links, images, everything is approved and ready to go. So then on Facebook, There are a lot of different tools out there to help you schedule your post. There's Sprout Social, which is a paid tool. Buffer is paid, buffer.com, and then Hootsuite.com. Hootsuite has a free version up to 3 platforms, I think. And there's plenty more. There's probably 6 or 7 other ones. So there's Edgar, there's all these other ones that you may have heard of. Those are just 3 that we use and like. You can use all of those to automate your post to Facebook, but what we have found by using Facebook Scheduler is it's better to schedule through Facebook for your Facebook post because Facebook likes that better. It helps with your post with their algorithm. So always schedule your Facebook post through Facebook, and then utilize any of those other scheduling tools for Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest. We use Tailwind a lot for Pinterest for all of our Pinterest accounts because we're able to schedule out the post. We're able to create loops. So when you do a blog post, you're able to go in there and then it will put it out every few weeks. So your blogs aren't being forgotten. So there's a lot of free tools, which I'll put down below as well for you to take a look at, but utilize them because it's going to save you time in the long run. So these are just 5 tips on how you can utilize social media. And if you're struggling with that social media strategy as a whole, we're coming up on the new year. It's a great time to start strategizing now. And if you want to set up a free 30-minute consultation, just head on over to socialspeaknetwork.com and schedule one today. And we would love to chat with you about how to utilize and put together your social media strategy. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.